Long before Capcom's name became synonymous with Resident Evil and Devil May Cry, the dawn of the new millennium saw the publisher take a bold swing at combining historical Japan with supernatural horror. Enter Onimusha Warlords, a game that's not only birthed the franchise, but defined a unique niche of cinematic samurai action that resonated with gamers worldwide. Developed originally as a Resident Evil spin-off for the PlayStation 1, titled Sengoku Biohazard, Onimusha Warlords transplanted the tank controls, fixed camera angles and survival mechanics of its zombie-infested cousin into the Sengoku period. But it didn't stop there. Capcom infused this historical tapestry with demonic forces, resulting in an atmospheric, brooding and strangely elegant hack-and-slash escapade. You took on the role of the stoic samurai Samanosuke Akechi, voiced and modelled after Japanese actor Takeshi Kenshiro, as he ventured through a war-torn Inibayama castle to rescue Princess Yuki from the clutches of the Genma flesh-hungry demons conspiring with the infamous warlord Nobunaga Oda. The gameplay loop was deceptively simple. Slash through enemies, absorb their souls a la Soul Reaver to power up magical weapons, and solve light puzzles. Yet it was the visceral combat, haunting atmosphere, and the innovative soul absorption mechanic that made Onimusha stand apart. With pre-rendered backgrounds reminiscent of the PlayStation 1 era, but rendered in striking detail on the PlayStation 2, the game oozed style and substance. The game would go on to sell over 2 million copies, becoming the first PS2 title to hit that milestone, a feat that stunned even Capcom. Onimusha Warlords laid the foundation for a series that would only grow in ambition. If Warlords was the prototype, Samurai's Destiny was the evolution. Set a decade later, Onimusha 2 centred around Jubei Yagyu, a quiet, fierce warrior inspired by the real-life samurai of the same name, as he journeys to avenge the destruction of his village by the now demonic Nobunaga. Development on Onimusha 2 began shortly after the success of Warlords, with Capcom aiming to build on its breakthrough hit while addressing player feedback. Released in 2002, the game was directed by Jun Takeuchi, who would later go on to produce titles like Resident Evil 5, and was developed by Capcom's internal production studio 2. Unlike the first game, which had initially been conceived as a PlayStation 1 title, Samurai's Destiny was built natively for the PlayStation 2, allowing for more ambitious technical features from the outset. With the sequel, Capcom overhauled the formula. Branching narratives, multiple playable characters, and a surprisingly deep relationship system, which gave Samurai's Destiny a layer of light RPG flavour. Jubei could befriend various allies, like the brash gun-wielding Magoichi, or the deadly Kunoichi, Uyu, each offering different story paths and gameplay moments. The gift-giving mechanic may seem odd today, but it was an ambitious attempt to personalise the experience, and one that encouraged multiple playthroughs. Graphically, the game pushed the PlayStation 2's capabilities even further. Gone were the static cutscenes, and in came fully 3D cinematics with sweeping camera angles and motion-captured choreography. The combat was more refined, faster, and featured new elemental weapons with unique abilities. The world felt larger, more lived in, and more lethal. Still, Samurai's Destiny didn't quite eclipse its predecessor in cultural impact, perhaps due to the departure of Samanosuke or the more complex, sometimes awkward, new mechanics. Yet it remains a fan favourite for its expanded lore, cinematic polish, and sheer ambition. In a move that delighted long-time fans and surprised many newcomers, Capcom gave Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny the remaster treatment in early 2025, releasing it on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch and PC. Faithfully preserving the game with updated visuals, widescreen support and modernised controls. The re-release doesn't attempt to reinvent the blade, but it hones it just enough for a new generation. Gone are the clunky tank-like turns and fixed camera frustrations, replaced by smoother movement, subtly remastered audio, and several quality of life upgrades, such as auto-saving, swappable weapons, and easy mode, and best of all, cutscenes you can actually skip this time. Imagine that! Though it's still built on early 2000s design principles, the experience holds up remarkably well, especially with the fast SSD load times and visual polish afforded by today's hardware. So, whether you're revisiting it for nostalgic thrills or discovering its branching paths and moody atmosphere for the first time, the Onimusha 2 Remaster is proof that this long-dormant series still has plenty of spirit left. The Onimusha series will go on to spawn 2 more mainline entries. Onimusha 3 Demon Siege, starring Jean Reno, the world's most European man, and Dawn of Dreams, a tactical spin-off, with Netflix even producing an anime series in 2023. And in the same vein of Resident Evil 4, Capcom also released an arbitrary controller for the 3rd game in the series, this time in the shape of a samurai sword. I even managed to get hold of one when they were super cheap, and not so much now. There was even an Onimusha fighting game released on the PlayStation 2, Onimusha Blade Warriors, which was blatantly inspired by Smash Brothers and included Mega Man as a secret character. Which is nice. All in all, it's those first 2 entries that remain the most iconic, setting a blueprint for fusing Japanese history with gothic horror and stylized action. In hindsight, Onimusha was more than a samurai slasher. It was a trendsetter, a spiritual precursor to modern character action games, and even a tonal sibling to Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. And with the recently announced Onimusha Way of the Sword heading to modern systems in 2026, who knows where the franchise will continue from here? Because, in the end, demons never stay buried, and neither do great games. Hello you! Thanks ever so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to be first to see future Fact Hunt episodes. Click on the bell if you already are to make sure you're notified, and be sure to check out my other episodes. And if you want to be super awesome, check out my Patreon. But thanks again for watching, and until next time friends, I'm missing you already.